Nikki Moore, author by the sea. I live in beautiful Dorset and I'm published by HarperCollins, most notably the Love London series over my shoulder. Thanks so much for joining me today. I didn't vlog last week because I actually went to Athens for a long weekend. Was exploring the city. I'm sorry I missed you for a week, but it did give me the topic for this week's vlog, which is all about evocative storytelling. So when you're writing a book, you really want to pull someone into your story. You want them to, to keep turning the page, and to be satisfied by the read that they have. So there are a few things that I wanted to share with you. I was offered my first contract in 2013 and first published in 2014. So I've been writing and publishing books for 5 years now. So, I've picked some things up along the way and I want to share my experiences with you. So thanks for tuning in. So evocative storytelling, there are kind of three main things that I would share with you about that. So when you're writing a book, and I really believe that you should write something that you are passionate about and it's a story that you need to tell. But the first tip is that you always have to think about your reader. So by that I mean, don't just write commercially because you think it's what the market wants and that's what will get published. Do write a book that, hits the sweet spot of being commercial and what readers want and something you love to tell. But when you're writing the book, you're physically writing and creating. Think about your reader. Who is your reader? What do you want them to get from the story? And I'm a firm believer in the fact that, to pull your reader into the book and make them keep turning the pages, you really need to kind of take them on a thrilling ride. And maybe that sounds like something that I would talk about if we were writing, psychological thrillers or police procedurals where we're hunting a serial killer down. But I really believe that's true for all genres. So, you need to thrill your reader, you need to take them on a journey with you. And I really feel that it should be like a roller coaster, there should be ups and downs. So even if you're writing, romance like the Love London series, there have to be twists and turns. In any romance, you don't expect two people to simply meet, fall in love and have their happy ever after. You're looking to get to know these two people, and they may not meet, in a simple, straightforward way. There may be twists and turns in terms of, how they meet, and actually, does it take them a long time to meet? Do they keep maybe missing each other, like in Our Stock, which I've just read, which is a brilliant book set in London. But anyway, you don't want it to be straightforward. Even if they meet straight away, there have to be conflicts. There has to be something in the plot that, kind of maybe pulls people apart and then pushes them back together. There has to be light and shade. There has to be kind of almost like, we call it the black moment. So maybe 6 or 7 eighths of the way through the book, there has to be something that happens, almost like a crisis. And you end up thinking, oh my God, are these people going to end up together? Will they actually get, their happy ever after? So think about the reader. How can you take your readers on that journey? How can you make them want to stick with you? What twists and turns can they take with your characters? For me, I kind of write in a what if way. So I'm definitely more of a plotter than a pantster than I used to be. But my premise, I kind of start off with a what if. So what if this happened and what if that happened and then what if character A did this and character B could then react or respond in that way, and I kind of go from there. And if I feel like it's not exciting enough, it's almost like, how can I turn it on its head? How can I spin this in the opposite direction and surprise my reader? So you really want your readers to engage in your story. So, think carefully about your plot and how you can kind of keep them, almost on the edge of their seat, not wanting to put the book down at night, reading till 1 a.m. Tip 2 is around research. So I believe in researching first, because I've often found in the past that your research will actually inform your story. So you might come across like a real nugget of useful information. You might think, oh my God, that can have a massive impact on the plot. And actually, if that happens to that character because of that, then how could the plot change, and it could actually be more exciting because of that. I use about 10 to 15% of the research that I do, and I believe in sprinkling it in your book like gold dust. If you put too much of a research in the book, so whether it's about a place, a job, a system, a process, whatever it might be, it's going to be like a textbook if you include too much. So don't use too much of your research, but do use it to inform your plot. For me, research is about physically going to places. So with the Love London collection, there was some set in, say Primrose Hill, Hyde Park. So I went to those places and I took photos and I used my voice recording, memo on my iPhone, and I was just making verbal notes, thinking about things that I was noticing and what I could use in the stories. So, do your research. You can also do things like you can use Google Earth to look at, geographical places, landscapes, internet searches. You can read books, you can read magazines, you can interview people, but kind of gather it all together and then think about, if I was a reader, what would I want to know about? What would I need to know about to drive the story forward? But actually, what do I not need to have in there? And the third tip is about use of the 5 senses. So, in order to allow your reader to kind of immerse themselves in a world that you're creating, to walk in your character's shoes, as Harper Lee would say in To Kill a Mockingbird, and to see the world through your main character's eyes, you really have to use the 5 senses. What can your character see, taste, smell, hear? It's those senses. It's so important. And, it's finding a way. Every single scene that I write, I use the 5 senses. You only have to sprinkle, a sentence here, a sentence there in amongst the dialogue and description to kind of really breathe, build a scene that breathes and, is a living, breathing thing. So I write my manuscripts as a dirty draft. So from beginning to end, I don't go back and kind of edit as I go along. I just keep going till I get to the end of the draft. Then when I go back and do the rewriting stage, I then look at every single scene and I think about, am I using the 5 senses? Are they all in there? So if my character's in a cafe with a friend, what can they hear? Is it the tinkle of the bell as someone comes through the door? Is it the tinkle of cutlery? Or clatter of cutlery? What can they smell? It's coffee rising from the mug with the steam. They can see a family over their friend's shoulder. So it's kind of sprinkling in and it's using those 5 senses, and it's really important because it will make your world that much more vivid for the reader as you take them through your story and it unfolds. It's a shorter vlog today, so I hope you found that interesting and helpful, and do use those tips. I love it sharing my experience with people. I had lots of help and lots of experience on my path to publication, writers and authors who were willing to share what they'd learnt with me, so I really want to kind of keep going with that and kind of keep sharing and helping others. If you enjoyed this vlog, then if you could like it, if you could share it, that's so appreciated. Thanks for all the support so far, and I'd love you to get in contact with me. This is my Twitter handle, and there are also some more contacts at the end in the closing credits of this vlog, but do get in contact with me about other topics that you would like to hear about. I hope that vlog's been useful in terms of, the kind of, it's more about the craft of writing than some of my other vlogs. But, when I went to Greece for my long weekend, it was such an evocative city. It really made me think about, I've got to use this trip in one of my next books. And so, when I'm going to be using that experience, what the things that in my, the character's going to be hearing and seeing, what the views from the top of the mountain and, how they're going to feel as they're going on their electric scooter, which we had lots of fun on. So I really thought about, it's got to be evocative. I've got to bring this story, the next story, to life for people. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week. Stay safe out there. The weather is appalling at the moment, and I look forward to seeing you on next week's vlog. Thanks so much. Bye.